In this video, you will be shown how you can create digital mind maps in Google Drive using two different free add-ons, MindMup and Diagramsnet. Both of these mind mapping solutions are also available for mobile devices. Details of this will be discussed later in the video. Mind maps can be used to brainstorm, self-test, organize a paper, or study for an exam. Mind maps are especially useful for self-testing, which is seeing how much can be remembered without looking at notes, textbooks, or other materials. Mind maps can also help us use our study time more effectively by showing us the gaps in our memory or understanding, which can help us focus our efforts. Before we can take a look at how we can create a digital mind map, we must first understand what a mind map is. Essentially, a mind map is a type of diagram. It is a visual representation of a concept or process. The act of mind mapping gives you a way to visualize said concepts and processes in a manner that is similar to how your brain works. Now, you're probably thinking, that's great, but what does that mean exactly? Well, the best way for you to understand what a mind map is and what mind mapping is all about is to see an example. You can also follow along if you would like and create your own mind map on paper for now. To start, think of what you would like to base your mind map on. What concept, process, or fact did you want to visualize? You can even base it around a textbook chapter, or, if you're planning a paper, you can put your paper topic in the middle as well. In our example, we will base our mind map on the Civil Rights Movement for our hypothetical course in American history. You, of course, can choose a different topic if you are following along and creating your own. So, in the middle, we will write our main topic and circle it. Now, take a moment to read what you, or we, just wrote in the middle. What comes to mind when you read that topic? Your mind is probably coming up with all sorts of related ideas, facts, memories, and other such things, as it tries to understand and process what it has just read. This is what your mind map is supposed to represent. It's supposed to help you visualize your brain's seemingly chaotic and unorganized thought processes in an attempt to help you understand what you know about a certain topic and what you do not know. Now that you're more aware of this phenomenon going on in your head, use it as an opportunity to add ideas to your mind map. So, for our example, whatever came to mind to us when thinking about the Civil Rights Movement, we'll add those as separate nodes that all connect to our main idea. Now that there are more ideas to work with, we can repeat this process for each individual node, adding on to our mind map for as much as we see fit. Once you're done with a mind map, it is important to frequently revisit your map and either add to it or just read it over as often as needed so that the information can stay fresh in your mind. Okay, now, to recap, a mind map is essentially a diagram that visually represents your thought processes regarding some main idea, fact, or concept. In the previous example, we had you follow along by creating a mind map on paper. So, you might be wondering, why create mind maps digitally at all, when you can just pick up a pen and start mapping away? Well, while mind mapping on paper is a fine choice, creating mind maps digitally might work better in a remote learning environment. There are a lot of benefits to mapping digitally versus on paper. Some of these benefits include the ability to create cleaner-looking mind maps, the ease with which you can add, delete, and revise digital mind maps, the peace of mind knowing that you'll always have your mind map easily accessible and that you don't have to be afraid of losing it, the option to style your mind map by adding different colors and even having the ability to add images and links to your map, the ability to collaborate with others in real time over the internet when mind mapping in Google Drive. Now, of course, there are many more benefits, but these are some of the major ones. Okay, now that you understand what a mind map is and why digital mind maps are so awesome, let's take a look at the ways we can actually create them digitally. The first program we will be showing you is MindMup, which is a free add-on for Google Drive. MindMup is great for when you're just starting out mind mapping, as it has a very simple interface and does a lot of the work for you when creating your maps, like automatically adding the lines that will connect your nodes. To get started using MindMup on a mobile device, simply go to MindMup's website in your phone's web browser to begin mapping. To get started using MindMup for Google Drive, you will first need to navigate to your Google Drive. You can do this by going to your My Campus portal and then clicking on the triangle icon located in your Launchpad. Once you're there, head on over to where it says New in the top left corner and move your cursor until you see More. A new menu will appear to the right. Move your mouse to where you can see Connect More Apps and then click on it. A pop-up will appear. This is the G Suite Marketplace and is where you can find a bunch of different add-ons. Think of it like your phone's App Store, only instead of for your phone, it is for Google Drive. In the search bar, search for MindMup. It will appear in the search results. Click on it. To install it, click Install. A message will appear asking if you are sure you want to install MindMup. Click Continue. You may get a pop-up window asking to choose an account to use with MindMup. Make sure to choose your @main.edu Google account. Once you choose your @main.edu account, it will show you what permissions MindMup requires to be installed. If you agree with these permissions, click Allow. Two messages will appear. The first one is letting you know that MindMup is now connected with Google Drive. Select OK. The second message is letting you know of two ways you can access MindMup. The first way is through the Google App Launcher in the top left corner, located to the left of your profile picture. The second is by right-clicking on a MindMup file and clicking Open With and then MindMup. You can also access MindMup by going back to New, hovering over More, and then clicking on the newly appeared MindMup. Okay, now that MindMup is successfully installed, let's create our first digital mind map. You can access MindMup by using any of the three ways mentioned in the last section. For this example, I will head over to New, More, and then MindMup. When you launch MindMup, it may ask you to sign in again. If it does, sign in using your @main.edu account. By default, MindMup opens up to a new map. As you can see, MindMup has already provided us with our central node. Double-click on the central node and put in your idea, fact, or process. Once you make that change, an orange text will appear asking if you want to turn on autosaving. We recommend you do this so you don't always have to manually do it yourself. Okay, so our mind map is looking a little bit empty. No worries. Let's explore what options we have to help us add to and style our map. At the top, we have a menu bar, and below that, a toolbar. The menu bar has some of the same options as the toolbar, in addition to letting you do things like download your mind map in an array of different file formats, like PDF, search your mind map, and much more. We recommend visiting the Help option when you encounter any difficulties using MindMup or have a question. In the toolbar, we can do various things like add different kinds of nodes, add images, undo and redo an action, connect to another node, change the node style, which includes the background and text color of a node, adjust the font, add notes, attachments, and stickers to your node, and much, much more. First, let's add a node. There are 3 different types of nodes in MindMup. The first is called a parent node, which is essentially your main concept that goes in the middle. We already have one of those, so we won't add another, but you have the option to if you'd like. The next 2 types of nodes are called child and sibling nodes. To better show you what these mean, we need to see them in action. So, for this mind map, we chose space exploration as an example. The first thing that I think of when I see space exploration is NASA. Since NASA falls under the category of space exploration, we would make it a child node. Another thing that comes to mind when thinking of space exploration is SpaceX. Now, SpaceX and NASA both fall under the category of space exploration, but SpaceX does not really fall under the category of NASA so much. So, while NASA and SpaceX both fall under, are children of, the category of space exploration, they are not entirely the same thing. So, I would add SpaceX as a sibling node to NASA, since they are 2 related ideas but do not necessarily fall under each other's category. Let's add some more to our mind map. Let's change the color of some of our parent nodes so we can better distinguish them from their children. To do this, click on the node and then head on over to the paint bucket. Now, let's say we wanted to add some media to our mind map. After all, we don't only think in text now, do we? When you add images in MindMup, they will be added as children only. To add an image, click on the node you want to add the image child node to, and then click on the picture icon with a plus next to it. Here, you can upload an image stored on your drive, or you can search Google for an image. Once you've selected an image, click on Select. The image will be added as a child to your previously selected node. If we wanted to add a link, let's say to NASA's website, we can simply enter the link in the node. This, in turn, will add a little link icon to the node that you can click on to direct you to the website you entered. Now that we've filled up the map, we might decide that we want to share it with others so that they can either review or add things to your mind map. To do this, click on the Share button and then enter the emails of the people you'd like to share this mind map with. You can also publish your mind map so you can do things like share a link to it or get the embed code. Keep in mind, though, that when you publish your mind map with the free version of MindMup, it will only be available for 6 months and will be publicly available to anyone using MindMup Atlas. We suggest saving your mind map as a PDF once you're done with it in case you may need your map later. We also suggest taking some time after watching this video to explore MindMup yourself so that you can get a feel for it if it's the right mind mapping program for you. While MindMup is great, some people may prefer to have a little bit more control over the look and design of their mind maps. That is where Diagramsnet, also sometimes called Draw.io, comes in. Just like MindMup, to get started on a mobile device, simply go to Diagrams.net in your phone's web browser to begin mapping. And, just like MindMup, Diagrams.net also offers a free Google Drive add-on. The installation process is very similar to that of MindMup, only this time you'll search the G Suite Marketplace for Diagrams.net and install that instead. To start, let's launch Diagrams.net. Once you've done so, you will be greeted with the option to choose a template. There are a ton of options for a ton of different use cases, even those that stem beyond mind mapping. For now, let's select a blank document. Click Create. You may be greeted with a message asking you to authorize this app with Google Drive. Click Authorize. You then will be asked to select a Google account. Choose your @maine.edu mail address. You will then be greeted with the requested permissions. If you agree with them, click Allow. Once you've done so, you will be greeted with a blank diagram. To change the name of your diagram, click on Untitled Diagram in the top left. A pop-up will appear where you can type your new title. Click Rename when you're done. As you can see, Diagrams.net has a lot more options than MindMup. At the top, you access your basic menu options, like downloading your mind map as an external file, like a PDF, or adjusting the zoom level or page layout. On the left, you have access to a lot of different node shapes. There are a ton of options, and you can even add more by clicking on More Shapes. To add a node, click and drag the node you want to the blank grid. As you move around the node, you have guides that will help you align your node. You can resize the node by clicking and dragging any of the blue dots. To enter text in a node, just double-click and start typing. As you type, you will see that a text style menu will pop up on the right where you can change the font color, size, weight, and much more. When adding nodes in Diagrams.net, you'll have to make the connections yourself. You can choose from different arrow types on the left sidebar and drag them over and adjust them how you like. You'll have similar style options for arrows just like you do with shapes. You can even add text to arrows. Node shapes themselves also have style options. When you single-click on a node, the Style menu will pop up on the right, allowing you to change the node color and even change the type of outline the node shape will have, and much more. To add an image to the node, double-click on the node you want to add the image to, and then click on the picture icon in the sidebar located to the right. With Diagrams.net, you can either drag an image to this box or add an image URL. Once you've done so, click on Apply to add the image. You can resize the image just as you would a node. To add a link, you can similarly double-click on the desired node and click on the link icon. Type the URL here, and then click on Apply. Now that this mind map is pretty full, let's share it so we can get feedback and/or have some nodes added by others. To do so, click on the Share button in the top right corner and type in the email addresses of the people you want to share the document with. You and others can also add comments to your mind map by going up to the little speech bubble located to the left of the Share button. As you can see, Diagrams.net has several great features, so it is best to take some time after this video to explore Diagrams.net yourself, so you can get a feel for it if it's the right mind mapping program for you. Now that you've gotten a glimpse of both MindMup and Diagrams.net, you may be asking yourself what the difference is between the two. Well, as previously mentioned, MindMup is great for if you are just starting out with mind mapping. It does a lot of the work for you when it comes to the little details of creating a mind map, like how it will connect the nodes for you, and how it will start you off with an already created central node. However, if you want more control over the look and feel of your mind map, Diagrams.net is a good choice because, as you saw, it offers more control over things like the shape of your nodes and how they are connected. Now, with these differences in mind, be sure to take some time to explore the two programs, or even take the time to explore the multitude of mind mapping solutions available online and find what works best for you. And don't forget, once you make your mind map, refer back to it often and add to it as needed. This will help you build upon your study efforts and reinforce important concepts. And that's that! You have now seen how to create and use a digital mind map using MindMup and Diagramsnet. Now it's time to practice using these two add-ons yourself so that you can become more familiar with them. Also, be sure to check out our related video, Learning with Mind Maps. And for more information on academic support resources and strategies, visit us at usm.maine.edu/agile.